Hey guys, this is going to be a video about the full moon in Leo. As I adjust this thing here, my perfectionist tendencies coming out already. This video is about the full moon in Leo. It's going to be on February 12th and 13th, ruler of the sun, Leo, in a full moon at the Piscean degree. I wrote down what I feel that this moon is going to be about. So here it goes. Emotions are being released through the sign of Leo on February 12th and 13th. Leo represents the heart and the solar plexus, so themes will be around self-worth. Where do we neglect love for ourselves? The pure light of Leo gives with all their heart and soul. They do not give up on others easily, and they fight for what they love and care about. Leos that are in the light can only do that because they make sure to nourish their own heart as well. They do not neglect themselves. But what if the heart has been used or abused, not nourished at all? A broken heart can linger for years, laying dormant in the shadows. It leaves a mark on the subconscious and won't go away until it is given attention to heal it. What if the majestic lion or lioness neglect themselves of love and loses the passionate roar in their heart? It creates the need for validation and approval from others. Their worth is dependent on others' opinions. The real heart of Leo reminds us in this full moon that self-confidence can only come when you learn to love yourself. With all of life's ups and downs brought about by Uranus, we go through experiences that test whether or not we truly do have love for ourselves. The long retrograde cycle of Mars through the signs of Cancer and Leo has brought forth the tempered discomforts to the surface for a lot of us because we needed to look at where we could be selling ourselves short. How do we know if the time has come to drop something that has not been fulfilling? How are we able to tap in and use the full potential of our intuitive abilities? Questions to ask yourself. Do I still feel a roaring passion for love and life? Do I have confidence in my own abilities? Do I give myself the same love I give others? Do I fear change and transformation? The unhealed side of Leo needs to be the center of attention. The real sign of Leo is unaware when they become the center of attention because they lead from their heart to spread love and joy to everyone around them. We all have Leo in our charts. We all possess Leo-like qualities and attributes. This is a time where Pluto, the planet of death, transformation, and rebirth, in Aquarius is facing off and opposing the heart and solar plexus, Leo, because it's all symbolic of our own personal journey to heal who we are in order to become what we were meant to be. So that's what I wrote. I also wrote down some symbolism of this full moon with Aquarius and, the planets. So Aquarius rules Saturn and Uranus. Uranus is the modern ruler, traditional ruler of Saturn. And Pluto, transiting through Aquarius right now, is kind of representing Hades, Anubis, or Osiris. Leo is the sun god, Ra, Helios. Ruler of this sun, right? The light, life, soul, facing off with Hades, Anubis, Osiris. Pluto, ever since going into Aquarius, think of it this way, going into and using the energies of Aquarius, which come from the power of Saturn and Uranus in this battle. The other planets are just putting in their energies to balance the forces. For example, Neptune and Saturn are going to be moving into Aries soon here. They're just finishing up in Pisces. So that means the powers of Saturn and Neptune are going to help aid in the light, right? To counteract the god of the underworld. So you can look at it in a way, symbolically, they're manipulating the energies from these planets. These frequencies are at play. So I wrote down here, example, Saturn, Neptune will be in a fellow air sign, or fire sign, Aries, to help manipulate and conjure energies to counteract the darkness, but not without a fight, because Aries is the god of war, right? So a lot of astrologers that I've been tuning into, watching, reading stuff on, have been saying that this conjunction of Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Aries, the god of war, Mars, the warrior, there's a high potential that we're not prepared for what's to come. That's all I'm going to say about that. We don't know for sure, but based off of some, then I can see it just based off of like history and, going back in time of when certain wars happened and stuff like that. And the transits that were in the skies, it kind of aligns. So, but Uranus, okay, so this is something too that I thought of. Uranus is going to move out of Taurus and it's going to go into the sign of Gemini. So going to the sign of Gemini is bad because it's an air sign. Uranus going into Gemini is like supercharging AI. And if you think about it, Gemini, right? The AI model, Gemini, I think that's what it's called, where it creates pictures and artificial, I don't know all these terms. So you guys know what I'm talking about, okay? That's what I think of. And Uranus is going into that sign. So it's going to supercharge AI, Ahriman forces, which is like the Satan force or energy. And that's going to actually help the dark forces. But yeah, this just all came up to my mind. I was thinking, oh my gosh, that kind of symbolically connects, at least for me. Jupiter is going to go into Cancer though. So this is the nice part. Jupiter right now is in Gemini, yes, but it's going to move into the sign of Cancer in July. And Cancer is the ruler of the moon. And we know that the sun and the moon have a love story. They love each other, right? Yes, they do. So that means that it's like the moon is known as the sun's wife. So she will do everything to help the one she loves, the sun, which is represented by Leo, who is the one that is opposing Aquarius on the zodiac wheel. And Aquarius has the Pluto there in their sign. So with Jupiter going to Cancer, that supercharges Cancer, and Jupiter is about luck, expansion, good fortune, and she's going to do everything in her power to protect her husband. So I know it's kind of, it's like fantastical and stuff like that, but I love doing stuff like that. That's just what came to my mind when I was putting this together. I love symbols. I love symbolism so much because I feel there's so much depth there. It feels good to make connections to things because it's more relatable in a way. Okay, so another thing about this full moon in Leo, there's going to be a T-square. So a T-square meaning there's two squares and an opposition. So it's kind of like something you don't really see coming, I guess, because you can think of it as being like T-boned out of nowhere. I've heard it expressed like that, and it does make sense, yes, but I wanted to try and make something more original up. That's the only thing I could think of. But yeah, Uranus and Taurus is going to make a T-square with the full moon in Leo, because there's going to be a moon squaring Uranus, and then the sun is squaring. It's the full moon that's squaring Uranus, and the sun in Aquarius is going to be squaring Uranus as well. Okay, so I had to take out the part that I was explaining about the Uranus, the squares between Uranus and the sun and the moon and all that, because the descriptions I was finding just did not match. I just didn't feel it. And I'm still learning myself. So this is a process that, you guys are learning with me, basically. As I learn, you learn too. I wanted to get the proper description, though, that would align better with the energy that's happening in this T-square. So Sun square Uranus aspect represents the throat chakra. Okay. The energy of this square aspect between the Sun and Uranus can often feel highly frustrated, and without a suitable channel for release, it may turn towards more aggressive or even violent expressions. Discovering adequate forms to anchor this Uranian energy is crucial. Evoking that Sun center cohesiveness helps in dealing with the highly charged Uranian energy. I mean, at least Uranus is in Taurus, right? But it is making that square to its ruler, because Aquarius is the one that rules Uranus in the modern day anyway. Consider activities and practices that might help you ground the dynamic energy that you could feel from this aspect. You could find yourself being erratic, individualistic, restless, nervously agitated, with a strong desire for independence, freedom from social restrictions. This kind of energy has a tendency to cause unnecessary troubles. So, for example, it could spark a fight, and all of a sudden, if you're with friends or your partner and, you go to get food and one little thing is off about the food. Like you didn't get your pickle or something. Like you didn't get your pickle with your sandwich. And so therefore, because that didn't happen, you just say, fuck this shit. I am done. And it starts a fight between you and your partner, or whoever else it is, when it could have been avoided and it wasn't even needed. But it's just like that kind of energy where it's like, it's unnecessary. So, this can also be the type of energy where, because you love that rebellious energy or some kind of, inner rebellion just wants to come out, it's like being the devil's advocate all the time, right? And if you're always acting as the devil's advocate, that can cause like agitation, irritation in others. And then, of course, within yourself, somebody else is doing that to you. It leads to confusion, a loss of self, as you may erode or lose sight of your own beliefs and ideals. And that's another thing too, is that by questioning everything all the time and not finding like a secure spot that you align with at least the most, right? Like which one do you align with the most? That's Uranus being the devil's advocate to the sun, because the sun is the one that is the solar center, supposed to be, your stability, your light. So Uranus is like testing, squaring it. Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that in there because I wanted to have like a more accurate description of the energy. Okay, so now the one where it's the moon square Uranus. This with the moon squaring Uranus and Taurus, relationships are likely to be a battleground, and your domestic life may remain unsettled whenever you struggle with unresolved inner conflicts. So, yeah, it makes sense because the moon is ruled by Cancer. Cancer rules the fourth house of home. Uranus is ruling the 11th house, which is of the collective that's constantly changing, groups that are constantly changing, acquaintances that are in and out of your life, unpredictability. That's where Aquarius rules in the 11th house. And it's in Taurus right now, though, of course. So at least it's in an earth sign. But the downside is that it's in an earth sign that's also a fixed sign like Aquarius. Aquarius is a fixed sign. So it's in the same modality. While you are mentally alert and quite clever, one challenge could be how you apply your talents. Finding a satisfactory outlet could also benefit your inner balance. Failure to do so through a lack of discipline and application will only exacerbate personality conflicts. So you are capable of releasing restrictions from the past, but an ideal path for you would be founded on well-established ways. The lunar influence, which is the full moon in Leo, which also allow enough freedom to explore new horizons to satisfy Uranus and Taurus placement. So the problem is how to achieve the balance. So it's really a grapple between the comfort from the full moon area, balancing out with discomforts and seeking new things in the Uranian, Taurian area. Yeah. For example, Aries rising would be Leo's full moon is in the fifth house, right? So it's about fun. You want to have fun. You want to go and have these experiences, be creative, take some risks and stuff. And you do have Taurus in your second house. So you're kind of grappling back and forth within yourself about, okay, I want to have fun, but I know that this can really bring a lot of pressure to my finances. This could really pull me under if I'm not careful. So it's going back and forth with that because you so badly want to have this new start and you want to have some fun to experience something new, but you also are aware of the unpredictability that about your assets. And then for Taurus, you guys with Leo full moon in your fourth house, which is literally in the house of home, right? Where the moon loves to be. And then, you're the Uranus is in your first house. So that's a grapple between what I've always known. You want to embrace your family. You want to nurture your family roots. You want to make sure to comfort the ones you love. However, at the same time, there is a huge desire that is screaming within you, wanting change, wanting to embrace yourself for once. Like, I'm tired of living for everybody else. I want to do something for myself, but then you just grapple with that because you are constantly putting yourself down for wanting to have that desire. For having that desire, you judge yourself. So I think that's what it could bring for you. Gemini risings, it's going to be the moon's in your third house, and then you have your 12th house. So you have a lot of joy and love within your community, within your environment. You love to go on those short trips with family, friends, right? But then there's something that you probably have gotten used to the feeling by now, but I think throughout the entirety of Uranus transiting your 12th house, there's always been this subtle energy of unease that you've been feeling, right? In everything that you do, in every aspect. Of course, it's not fully known. You're not fully aware of it because it's so hidden, but in odd ways, it's like you're losing stuff and you don't know how they get lost, right? It's like one of those situations where it's like, man, like I'm losing these things and I recall exactly where they were, but for some reason they just disappeared and I have no idea where it is. But then lo and behold, somebody in your close community finds it for you. You don't even remember losing it there. Interesting stuff like that. But I would say that it's not really going to affect you that much, to be quite honest, because of the placements there. If anything, I would just say be very careful not to lose anything big, right? You don't want to risk losing something that's a big deal out of nowhere. So just be cautious of your items. Cancer risings, you guys are having your full moon in the second house. And then you have Uranus energy in your 11th. So that I see as, what? Yeah, go ahead. As long as you have your phone. I see that as, you really want to go more in depth with your financial stability, your security. You might have had a lot of shakeups with Uranus being in your 11th house, going through different friends. Like you've learned more about who you can trust and who you can't trust, the ones that are not reliable. And maybe throughout the process of that, you have taken a hit to some of your finances because you were taking a chance, taking a risk at opening yourself up to others. But in groups that, if anything, like almost, I would look at this as 11th house, like charities. That one person that donates the most in a group charity, but they don't have to donate that much, but it's like they're putting more than they need to, or maybe they put money in when they know they can't afford it, but they're doing it because everybody else is doing it and they don't want to look bad, that kind of thing. So I think right now it's bringing light to that area for you guys as Cancer risings. Leo rising. Okay, it's all about our identity, Leo. Yep. Leo, we are going through a time right now where we are really discovering who we really are and what we believe in. Who are we? Who's the person? What do we look like to others? Okay? Not in an insecure way, but have we found our solid footing? Do we know who we are? Because that's crucial. We've had Uranus in our 10th house of career. So our career area has been very up and down. We struggled to find like what exactly where we fit in exactly. It's been a challenge to find that perfect fit. But now as we're coming to the end of this transit in Uranus, we're starting to get to know ourselves better. And this full moon is really bringing to light our identity. Yeah, we are going to be a little sensitive. Perhaps we are because it's in our first house. A full moon in the first house is literally means it's showing up on our outward appearance. We're wearing our emotions on our sleeves. And so it's shown everywhere. So, I mean, also be cautious of that because, it's never good for a Leo to, when you show the weakness, it's good to be authentic, but when you show weakness to certain people, it doesn't work out in your favor. So you also have to be careful of that as well. Virgo rising, you guys have Leo full moon in your 12th house, and the squaring aspect here to Uranus is in your 9th. Hmm. What do you believe in, Virgo? What is it that you believe in? I'm sure you've gone through a lot of transformations within your beliefs. Let's just say, let's say like 8 years ago. Were you the same person 8 years ago? Or even doesn't even have to be that long ago. The full moon is in your 12th, and it is squaring to Uranus in your ninth, which is about your belief systems. So this is really bringing to the surface your inner beliefs. It's a reflection point for you to look at the things that you've gone through in your life, how much you've changed within the past couple of years even. And looking back to what helped to inspire those changes? What things have occurred that have shifted your viewpoint on things, whether it's for the better or worse? So that's really what it's bringing to the light here. Libra rising, it's going to be in your 11th house, and it's making that square aspect to your 8th. So I see this as, Libra, I wonder, you're learning about things within the realms of friendship that have been, because like your groups and stuff. You will want to be around your friends, I think. You'll want to get involved in stuff, group charities, and being helpful, being of service, to others. But be very careful as to what you're putting your energy into with a square to the 8th, Uranus being there. There could be some unexpected chaos that could birth from that experience. I'm not saying for sure, but when I see that, there is that possibility. Or you could find out about things that you were unaware of before when it comes to the link between your 11th house of friendships community and your 8th house of loss, gains, and secrets, right? Scorpio rising, you guys have Leo full moon in your 10th house. So that means, all right, you have the full moon in your 10th house, and you have a squaring aspect to your 7th house of partnerships. I'm wondering, Scorpio, if this is a time where something is being shown to you about your destiny. Your career is like it's the house of goals. It's the house of the father, it represents the point that we're supposed to grow to build up to. It's squaring Uranus in your 7th house of relationships, which to me, I wonder if you are starting to question what path you really want to go down. Because to me, it's like a choice between relationships and career. That square right there is pointing out a choice between relationships and career. So there could be some disharmony between like partnerships that you're in, if you're in a partnership, or it could be opposite. Maybe you're more involved in your career. So it's the other way around, to where it's like you don't have a partner because you're too focused on your career. And so now you're thinking about that, and that's been coming to your thoughts. Whatever it is, I think those are the themes that will be coming up for you. Sagittarius rising, you guys. I feel like this is way too. You guys can see me, right? Oh, obviously you can see me. Oh my gosh. I'm just thinking. Okay. There's my perfectionist shit going again. I'm telling you. Okay, Sagittarius rising. Leo full moon is in your 9th house. So it's about your beliefs, your philosophies as well, right? But it's squaring your 6th house. So, something about your beliefs. This full moon is trying to release something from your body. There's been a lot of chaotic shit happening within your health. I think you've been struggling with health, things related to health, whether it is, mental health, physical health, whatever it is. It's been affecting the routines in your life. You have this full moon in your ninth house, which is trying to bring healing to your beliefs. Because I think that is essentially something that could affect your overall health, is your philosophy on life, your beliefs, your inner beliefs. So it's trying to bring healing there and release there. Those are the themes I see for you. Capricorn rising, you guys have the full moon in Leo in your 8th house. The 8th house of secrets, debts, gains, losses, sex, all those kinds of things, right? Death and rebirth, a whole bunch of stuff packed in that house. Squaring your 5th house. So the theme I see with this is the balance between fun and games, risks and indulgences. Okay. This is bringing to light and trying to release maybe some toxic indulgences that you've had. Maybe. Or something that has been burdensome, that has affected the way that you have experienced creativity. That's how I kind of see it, honestly. It's releasing something from the 8th house that is connected in some way and making an aspect to your 5th house of children as well. Children, creativity, games, all that stuff, gambling, whatever it is. So it's to do with those themes. Explore some of the 8th house themes. That's what I would say. Aquarius rising, you guys have the full moon in Leo in your 7th house. This is all about your relationships, Aquarius, because Leo is your descendant. Yes, I always say this because opposites attract. But for you, the 7th house full moon is squaring your 4th house of home. So this is definitely centered around your relationships, your close partnerships, your bonds, things that are very, very close to home for you. If you have someone in your life, where is that at? What's the health of the partnership? This full moon is encouraging you to really take a look to make sure that you are aware of all the things that are happening in your life concerning the ones you love. If you don't have anyone in your life, then this full moon is asking you to look at, okay, how do I feel? Am I content where I'm at? Or do I have to make some changes to acquire and find what I want? So those are the themes for you, Aquarius. But you must have had a lot of shakeups throughout this entire Uranus transit in Taurus in your 4th house, let me tell you. Must have been crazy. Okay. So last but not least, Pisces rising, you guys have Leo full moon in your 6th house, and you have the squaring aspect to Taurus in your 3rd. So, yeah. I guess it's really about your routines, Pisces. It's close to home, but not in such an emotional way. For you, it is close to home, but it's more so in regards to transportation, your daily routines, your mundane activities, whether it's like running errands and all that kind of stuff. And there could, because of the Uranus in your 3rd, a lot of ups and downs with like car problems, troubles, whatnot, transportation issues. I would say with this full moon, squaring that, just be aware of possible transportation issues happening within that time frame. and just be careful. Something could come, get in the way that is related to car issues or any of that type. But yeah. Anyway, that's what I have for you guys. I hope you liked it. Peace out.